But so many entrepreneurs are afraid of failure. But they're not really afraid of failure. Somebody put this right. They're afraid of having other people see them fail. And that paralyzes them.
Welcome to the Online Genius Podcast, where host and renegade thinking beer brewing lawyer turned online entrepreneur Bobby Klinck proves that building and protecting your online genius doesn't have to be rocket science. Bobby and his expert guests break down online marketing and the legal stuff so you can stop sweating the small stuff and get back to building your amazing business. Now, here's your host, Bobby Klinck.
Hey there, welcome to episode 108 of the Online Genius Podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Klinck, and today's episode is another Foundations Friday. And I guess I would say this one is kind of a mindset foundation more than anything else, but it's a piece of tough love and a swift kick in the rear that I think a lot of entrepreneurs need. What today's episode is about is that it's time to stop thinking, stop planning, stop learning, and start acting. It's time to start taking action that will actually move your business forward. And I'm going to talk about this because candidly, I know a lot of entrepreneurs who are in the same place today that they were 6 months ago, a year ago, and maybe even 18 months ago. Now, sure, they've learned a lot in that time. They've taken a lot of classes. They've taken a lot of online courses. Maybe they've joined some memberships, but they haven't actually ever put a stake in the ground and started offering a product. And I see that over and over again. And today's episode, the idea for it really came to me recently when I was on a panel with the other members of James Wedmore's mastermind at his event, BBD Live. And what something occurred to me during that. And I asked this question of my fellow masterminders, and it was this: how many of you, meaning the other members of the mastermind, would say that 75% or more of the things you try don't work? And after, at first them joking and kind of playing around and say, oh no, that's just you, Bobby. Pretty much all of them did. That's true. See, what makes us, multi-six-figure entrepreneurs isn't that everything we do is genius and perfect. Far from it. The reason that we have successful businesses is that we take shots and we keep taking shots and we keep taking shots and we keep taking shots. We are in action. And that is the key to our success. Now, it's not a secret. It's nothing like that. But, there are things that we try that I've tried this year that didn't work out. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But so many entrepreneurs are afraid of failure. But they're not really afraid of failure. Somebody put this right. They're afraid of having other people see them fail. And that paralyzes them. Because look, let's be honest, as long as you're just like learning and taking courses and maybe in a membership and doing that stuff, you can't really fail. You can't fail until you take a shot. But you also can't succeed. The reality is that until you start taking shots, you're not going to succeed. And I'm going to give you the unvarnished truth here. You're not going to succeed on the first thing you do, most likely. Now, maybe you will. Maybe you'll be one of those unicorns who launches and has a six-figure launch on your first try. But don't expect that. Honestly, most entrepreneurs who are successful, the ones you hear about, they have the scars that they can talk about their failures. Often the first thing they tried failed. I mean, you've heard my story, most likely, of my first launch, where I spent over $25,000 between everything and made one sale, $697. And then that woman asked for a refund on day 29, a 30-day refund policy, never having opened the course. And a lot of entrepreneurs would have given up at that point, but I didn't. I kept acting. So what I want to encourage you to do is to understand that you should not be afraid to fail. In fact, your goal should be to fail, and to fail a lot, and to fail fast. See, that's one of the things that has been my superpower, if you will, is that I have taken action and I haven't been afraid to fail. And I've, talked about my failures on this podcast quite a bit, and people have loved it. That's the thing. Everyone's afraid that they'll be judged for failure. I'll tell you what, the episodes and the emails that I send where I talk about my failures, I get more positive response from those than from anything else, because people want to hear that it's not just them. They're not alone, because everybody fails. It's just part of life. And so that's one thing I would say. Some people, it's a fear of failure. Other people, it's a perfectionism idea. It's that they want everything to be perfect before they launch. Well, I got news for you. It's never going to be perfect. Even if you take 5 years to develop a product and pour over it for thousands of hours, it's not going to be perfect. Now, maybe it'll mean you don't have any typos here or there, but the chances that it's actually perfect, next to none. See, because until you've actually launched something and gotten feedback on it and learned from your customers when they buy it, something will never be perfect. See, this is a place where I think I was lucky, because in my prior life as a lawyer, part of what I did was patent law, which meant I was around tech entrepreneurs quite a bit. And in the tech world, there's this well-known concept of the MVP, the minimally viable product. And see, this is how the tech startup world starts. They're not looking for a perfect product. They're saying, what is the minimum I can do to make it viable and to get it out in the market and to test it? And then once you do that, you're going to get feedback from customers. You're going to learn what's working, what's not working, what you need to add, maybe what you need to take away, or maybe you just learn that it's not the right product. But you never learn until you launch it. You never learn until you put it out there and start getting feedback. See, in the startup world, that is a well-accepted fact. Unfortunately, for a lot of us online entrepreneurs, people aren't talking about that. People are acting and under this impression that things have to be perfect, that you have to have all the bells and whistles, that you have to have everything worked out. I'm here to tell you, you don't. And I'm here to tell you, you're never going to get it all worked out until you put it out there. You're going to launch something and you're going to get feedback and you're going to say, okay, I need to change this. I need to tweak it. And in some cases, you're going to put it out there and you're going to discover, this isn't right. And not only is it not right, but it's not something that I can sell. And that's okay too. But you know when that's not okay? You know when that's devastating? If you've spent 5 years of your life, and I exaggerate a bit, but you get my point. If you have poured everything into a product idea for years, and then you put it out there and it's not working, then it's a real problem. And that's when, quite honestly, entrepreneurs end up like they won't let go. Because if you think about it, if you've put that much into it, you don't want to let go of something. And you're going to try to hold on and make it work, even if the market is telling you it's not going to work. See, so in some sense, what you want is to either fail or succeed fast on every single product. I don't mind failure as long as I failed fast. I don't want to fail if I've put a lot of time and effort into something. And again, it's relative, obviously, because I don't want to do something halfway, if you will. I want to kind of, put my all into something. But the reality is that I expect that I'm going to try things, they're not going to work, and I'm going to let them go. I can think of many things I've tried out this year that worked that way. I've tried some strategies to associate with when I'm going to have an open cart that didn't go over, where I was asking for feedback from people and didn't get any. And that's okay. I don't get upset about it. I don't get bothered by it. It just is. I've launched quizzes that didn't work. That's okay. I did it, but I did it quickly. And luckily I didn't, one of the things I learned when I first was launching, when I did that first failed launch, that taught me something. Like, I no longer put $25,000 into something before testing it. And so now I get things out there and I will, use this little trick that I've learned. And I heard Stu McLaren talk about it. He said, I'm thinking about launching, or I'm thinking about creating, and then you fill in the blank and you tell your audience about that and you see how they respond. And if nobody says anything good, well, maybe you're not going to do it. But if you get positive feedback, okay, well, maybe I pursue it. But you get that feedback. And then from that feedback, you create something. And after you create it, you get feedback and you iterate and you make it better. And so I wanted to do this Foundations Friday episode because I candidly see that way too many entrepreneurs are stuck in neutral. And they're stuck in neutral, like I said, either because they're afraid to fail or because they think it has to be perfect or because of, something similar. Or maybe they just think, if I take one more class, one more online course, then I'm going to have the clarity I need. I'm here to tell you, you're not going to have it. Your product's not going to be perfect when you launch it, no matter what you do. No matter what you do, there's a chance it's going to fail, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there's no class, no online course, nothing that's going to make you, give you confidence or the ability to say, yes, now I know that it's going to be right. The only way you're going to get clarity is to get into action. Start doing things, put things out there, put out some offers, see how people respond. And once you've done it, then you'll know, and then you'll have the clarity you need. So that's the message for today's episode is stop thinking, stop, trying to perfect things, stop taking courses, and start acting. Now, you can take courses. I don't mind. Do that if you need to, but you got to be acting too. And that's the important piece. Now, if you like help with this, if you think maybe you need someone to give you a swift kick in the rear end and keep you in action, that's kind of the idea behind a group coaching program that I'm launching. It's going to start December 1st, but it's going to be a small group of folks. Everyone's going to get access to my Fans First Society membership, but more importantly, it's going to be a group to hold everyone accountable. I'm going to help coach people through and get them into action, get them making progress. If you haven't yet launched a product, I'm going to help you launch. Make sure that you get it out there in the world, get that feedback, and then can start iterating. Now, if you've already maybe put something out there and it's not working great, we're going to iterate together. I'm going to help you figure out what's wrong and try it and try tweaking things and see what we can do to make it better. And then we'll iterate and we'll get to the point that you have a viable product. And so that's the point of it. It's basically a group coaching program that will be based around hot seats and me coaching you and other members of the group, providing support for you. But the idea is to get your product out into the world, to get you into action so that you get to the point that you are ready to go. So if you'd like, if this is something that says, hey, I definitely need that, head over to bobbyklinck.com/apply, fill out the information, and then, we'll get on a call, talk about it with each other, make sure you're a good fit, make sure you're comfortable with me and what I have in mind, and we'll get you into it and we'll get you started. And like I said, we'll start December 1st so that January 1, you will be, ready to go to knock 2020 out of the park. So if you're interested in that, if you have questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm just at Bobby Klinck, and we can chat about it there as well. But that's it for this episode of the Online Genius Podcast. I'll be back next Tuesday with another episode that's a really good one, and you're going to want to tune in for. So I'll talk to you then.
Thanks for listening to the Online Genius Podcast. Make sure to tune in next week for more great tips, tricks, and strategies to help you build and protect your online genius.